Well, by the way, speaking of the Jets, man, there's a lot of drama behind the scenes. What was it, Diana Rossini in The Athletic, talking about all the things going on behind the scenes with, Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson, the owner, the coach. What a mess. At one point, Robert Saleh, according to the article, was concerned about the leaks in the organization. And I guess he got all of his assistant coaches in a room and he said, give me your phones. I want to check and see who's the leak. That's what you're worried about? Also, my problem with the Jets, my biggest problem with the Jets, and I use other teams as a comparison. When, the Cleveland Browns lost their quarterback, they still played good football. They made it to the playoffs. Like, I want to see what you do. You lost Aaron Rodgers. I got it. You still had a really good roster. At least we were told you had a really good roster. Then all of a sudden, Aaron's not in there. And it's like, well, the offensive line's not good. Or, they don't have a passing attack. But the Cleveland Browns were able to salvage this. Who's the other team? Lost their quarterback, but they still, the Vikings lost Kirk Cousins. Still played well. That's where my biggest problem with the Jets is that Nathaniel Hackett is the offensive coordinator, and when he was asked to be the offensive coordinator when Aaron Rodgers wasn't in there, failed miserably. They should have at least gotten some kind of quality play from the quarterback, and then you sprinkle in a really good defense. You got a really good running back. You got a couple of good receivers, one elite receiver. Shouldn't that be enough to compete? And they didn't. But Nathaniel Hackett is back next year because Aaron Rodgers is back. Aaron Rodgers, his fingerprints on the organization were terrible. The people he brought in, big disappointment there. But the Robert Saleh, according to the report, wanted to do research on, marquee coaches who lost a quarterback during the season and what were their records. Because he wanted to say to ownership, hey, this happened to Mike Tomlin or this happened to Bill Belichick, and look what their record is, trying to save his. So he had a job that he's trying to save during the season instead of doing his job during the season to save his job. But what a mess. And then I guess, now this according to the article, that the Jets were upset that the Giants didn't get as much criticism as the Jets did. This high school stuff. Yeah, Paulie.
2022, the Jets had the 29th ranked offense in the league. 2023, they had the 29th ranked offense in the league.
Yeah.
Wilson was a quarterback both years. That's nothing really changed except for you plug in a higher end quarterback with expectations. The defense, though, did go from the 4th ranked offense in the league in 2022 to 12th ranked, which is still respectable. And it kept them in a lot of games. You saw there was a stat this year that some of the top quarterbacks in the league had their worst game of the year against the Jets.
Yes, but that should have been enough, just like the Cleveland Browns or the Vikings, to keep you competitive. And that's why what Kevin Stefanski did with the Browns when they lost to Deshaun Watson, and took them a while, and then they got Joe Flacco, but everything else sort of, they lost, Chubb. They lost Chubb as well, and still we're a playoff team. Playoff caliber team, so that's where the Jets failed miserably. And I have to point my fingers at the offensive coordinator. Plus, Zach Wilson, according to the article, thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to be his big brother, that he would be able to help him. And then, according to the article, Aaron ghosted him. Yeah, it was like he was getting his surgery and then ghosted Zach Wilson. And I think Zach Wilson thought, I got Aaron. I'll use him as a sounding board to get through this. And they also point out that it was true. Zach Wilson did not want to play anymore for the Jets because he didn't want to get hurt and then hurt his opportunity to play for somebody else. So that was reemphasized. They had over 30 sources on these stories. Yes, Eden.
If you were going to ask yourself who is in a better spot right now, we just had this one sent in, Zach Wilson or Mac Jones?
I would say Mac Jones still has a chance to start for the Patriots. If they decide that they're not going to use that third pick on a quarterback. I mean, Zach Wilson, who's going to hire Zach Wilson? And even as a backup quarterback, do I want him as a backup quarterback? I don't want a backup quarterback who thinks he should still be starting and is a young guy. Yeah, Paul.
Mac Jones, you feel like you saw him play some pretty good football at a couple points in his career. Zach Wilson, it was like he would have one good pass a quarter.
Yeah.
It felt like you were just waiting for any type of consistency in any game. I mean, he would have one drive and then 8 bad drives.
Yeah, he had a couple of games, though. I just thought they should have been fair to him. Let him play. Just let's see what he has. And even if you know what he has, he's better than Tim Boyle. He's better than Trevor Siemian. Like, what are you doing? Put him out there. Let him play. Stop, hey, we're going to put you in. Now we're going to take you out. Put you in, take you. No. And what a dysfunctional organization. Yes, Don.
What about personality of Zach and Mac? Kind of similar to a Caleb, where they've been known to whine and throw fits and complain. Even if they're in not such great situations, they have reason for some frustration. It does seem like that they kind of have maybe some personality flaws with how they handle pressure.
I don't know if it's pressure. I mean, it might be. Mac Jones reportedly was annoying in practice with Belichick. He kept saying, why? Why? But he was trying to understand. Zach Wilson came in, and I think he looked the part of a quarterback. Like that, I think that's the problem with a lot of people looking at that in the draft. And I said, well, did you watch him play? I think the toughest game was Coastal Carolina, and he didn't look good. But he rolled left, threw back right, 50 yards at his pro day, and next thing you know, oh my God, did you see that? He did the Mahomes thing. You roll left, throw back right, 60 yards. Oh my God, he can play. I'm like, okay.
Can you throw a 7-yard out pattern? Can you throw a hook pattern?
Yeah, I didn't have a great, I don't know. It's, once again, you're going, all right, did you watch him play? I'm sure you watched him play. Are you convinced that that's enough of a sample size? We're taking quarterbacks now based off 1 year. Now, Trey Lance, it's 1 year. I think Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace, based off 1 year. Zach Wilson off 1 year. And that, to me, is where I need a little bit more of a sample size. I need to see the highest of highs and lowest of lows. And are you playing against quality competition? And if you did, then how did you fare? I just think those things are so important that I need more than 12 games. Mitchell Trubisky had one season. Bears went all in on him. And that would worry me. Like Drake May, I've got a career there. Caleb Williams, I have a couple of seasons there. Jaden Daniels played at Arizona State, so I'm going to look at Arizona State, and then I'm going to look at LSU. And, see what the flaws are. Did you improve on anything? And I think that's going to be important with these teams who are going to be taking these quarterbacks. Give me what your sample size here is of, good football, quality football. Yes, Marv.
Think about how many more mistakes GMs would have made if quarterbacks can come out after 1 year. Christian Hackenberg and all these guys, like, hey, he'd be the number one pick in the draft right now.
Yeah. Yeah, Paulie.
I know it's very early in the pre-draft season, but at the Senior Bowl, Michael Penix Jr., hand size, 10.5 inches.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a statement measurement.
First round pick.
Rain proof right there.
Yeah. Oh, right there.
He could play in Canada with those hands.
Tried and true.
Oh, I draft his hands.
Wouldn't it be great if somebody says, hey, why'd you draft him? Oh, he's got big hands.
Big hands.
Yeah, he's got big hands. Brock Purdy, small hands, by the way. Had a hard time, holding on to the football in the rain.
Michael Penix walk around, no gloves on all through winter, showing them off at the Senior Bowl. Check these babies out.
Yeah. Look at my hands. Hey, can I see your tape? Nah, you don't want to see that. Look at my hands there.
Let me hand you my tape.
Oh. Okay.
Hello.
Let's go to break.
Oh, sorry, Marvin.